Welcome to Truth Uncovered. Today, we are not just talking about heartbreak. We're not just discussing detachment. We are breaking open a truth so sharp, so transformative, that once you hear it, you'll never see yourself or her the same way again. Because here's the reality. What if I told you that the moment you fully detach, not halfway, not pretending, not secretly hoping she texts you back, but truly and deeply detach with the weight of your entire soul, that's the moment she begins to spiral. Not because she's mourning the loss of you, but because she realizes something much darker: she never actually had you to begin with. And that realization doesn't sting, it haunts her. You see, detachment isn't silence for silence's sake. It's not revenge. It's not cold-hearted. It's awakening. It's the precise moment where the mask slips off. The illusions shatter, and she's left staring into the mirror of her own control, tactics, naked, exposed, and terrified, because the grip she thought she had on you, it was a fantasy, and now she's spiraling. Not because of who you are now, but because of who you are becoming without her. Let's begin. Point 1. Pain. It's not the end, it's the beginning of power. Let's be brutally honest. Heartbreak feels like death. Not metaphorical, real, heavy, physical. You feel it in your chest, in your gut, in the silence that seems to scream louder than any words. You stare at your phone. You rewind the conversations. You torture yourself with what could have been and what should have been. But here's the truth that most men miss. You didn't lose her. You lost the illusion that she valued you the way you valued her. You built a fantasy around her late night calls, breadcrumb affections, promises without action. And you clung to that fantasy like a man drowning, praying she'd become the woman you believed she could be. But she didn't destroy you. She revealed what you had. Refused to see you built your worth around someone who made you feel unworthy. And that's not love. That's emotional slavery. But now you're standing at a crossroads. You can either let this pain bury you, or you can use it to build you, because the path to strength never starts in comfort, it begins in ruin. Real power is born in brokenness, not when you win, but when you lose everything and rebuild anyway. She expected your tears. You give her transformation. She expected a broken man. You become unrecognizable. That's how it begins too. Silence. Isn't emptiness its precision? You used to send those desperate texts. Can we talk? Do you still care? Tell me what I did wrong. You wanted answers? You needed closure. But every word you sent, it didn't bring her closer. It pushed her further away, because here's what society never tells men: neediness repels. Not because women are cruel, but because human nature fears desperation. She wasn't blind to your pain. She just wasn't invested enough to care. She used silence as a weapon, and for a while, it worked. But here's where everything changes. When you finally go quiet, not because you're hoping for a reaction, but because you truly let go, that's when the power shifts. That's when you stop chasing and start rising. That's when your silence no longer means "I'm hurt." It screams, "I don't need you anymore." And here's what most don't understand. Women don't react to your words. They react to your energy. When your energy says, "I've moved on," you become the question she can't answer. She doesn't hear from you. Now all she hears is her own thoughts. And those thoughts, they're loud, they're brutal, and they don't let her sleep. 3. Attention. Whilst her oxygen starved the supply, let's make one thing clear. She didn't thrive on your love. She thrived on your attention, your validation, your likes, your comments, your presence, your orbit. That was her currency, and she knew exactly how to keep it flowing. Thirst trap photos, accidental posts just for you, leaving you on red to spark curiosity. And every time you reacted, she won. Because attention is power. And the more you gave, the less she respected you. But what happens when you starve the supply? What happens when you stop orbiting her stories? Stop chasing breadcrumbs? Stop throwing your focus at someone who never earned it. She suffocates. Validation addicts don't need love. They need eyes. And when your eyes disappear, she starts gasping for air. And here's what separates average men from high-value men. A stoic man doesn't waste attention. He doesn't throw it around like confetti. He protects it, guards it, gives it only where it aligns with his purpose. And she was never the purpose. She was the distraction. Let her gasp. Let her spin. She's not choking on your silence. She's choking on the absence of control. For your 80 odds, your emotions lie discipline. Is the truth your emotions beg you? Text her. Call her. Tell her what she meant to you. But emotions are children. They scream. They beg. They lie. Because when you're wounded, emotions aren't your allies. They're your prison guards. They'll chain you to the past. But discipline is freedom. Discipline is waking up and choosing purpose over pain. It's hitting the gym. When your chest is heavy, it's building something. When your hands shake, it's staying silent when she tries to bait you back into the loop. Because healing isn't passive. It's not about time. It's about what you do with time. Emotional. Men get played. Disciplined men get respected. You were never meant to be ruled by your feelings. You were meant to master them. And when you do, she no longer knows what version of you she's dealing with. Because now you're not predictable. You're dangerous to her. To weakness. 5. Evolve in silence. Return in empowerment post. Don't hint. Don't flex. Disappear, rebuild, reemerge. She expected you to drown. She expected selfies and sad quotes. She expected a man clinging to hope instead. You vanish not in weakness, but in purpose. No status updates, no thirst traps. Just work. Just evolution. And when she finally checks your profile again, she doesn't recognize you because you didn't become the gym. Bro, you became the discipline. You didn't set boundaries. You became the embodiment of them. You didn't post success. You lived it. And by the time she realizes the man you've become, she no longer has access. That's the real glow up. Not the outfit, not the haircut, the distance. 6. The one who cares less controls more. Hears the raw truth. In every dynamic, the one who needs less has more power. When she sensed that you needed her validation, her texts, her approval, that's when she pulled away. Not because she's cruel, but because certainty breeds boredom. We chase what's rare, we devalue what's guaranteed. She felt this shift when you cared more than she did. And that imbalance, it broke the attraction, but now you've recalibrated. You've stepped back, you've stopped reacting, you've stopped proving. And in that calm, focused stillness, you've become a question she can't answer. She doesn't know if you still care. She doesn't know if you've moved on. She doesn't know if you ever will come back. That uncertainty, it's the chaos she once caused in you. Now, she lives in it. You don't play hard to get. You are hard to get because now you know your worth. 7. You are no longer the character. You are the author. She thought she could write your story. She thought leaving would break you. She thought her absence would define your identity. She thought wrong, because the day you detached was the day you took back the pen. You are no longer a chapter in her narrative. You are the author of your own. You don't respond to her games. You don't fight for her crumbs. You don't orbit her world. You build your own. Final words. Become the storm she never saw coming. She thought you were fragile. She thought you'd beg. She thought you'd break. Let her think, because the truth is, you weren't broken. You were becoming. Let her spiral, because while she's unraveling, you're reinventing. You are no longer accessible to the past. You are no longer living in her shadow. You are no longer waiting. You are rising. This is not about revenge. This is not about ego. This is about rebirth. So if you're ready to become the storm she never saw coming, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. I am not what left. I am what rises. Welcome back.